Hello there, time for a nice calm Glossier Sunday with a look at their latest launch, hand cream. This little pink product landed in April after 2 years in development. Given the situation we're in and how much extra love people's hands need lately, Glossier brought forward the launch and donated the first 10,000 hand creams to healthcare workers in the US. I shared a video recently called Beauty Gives Back, which featured brands that have contributed during the pandemic, and Glossier have certainly made an impact. In this review, we'll run through the hand cream packaging, texture and feel, scent, sustainability, and a quick price and size comparison too. A Skywash review is coming soon as well, don't worry, and you can catch up on all of my previous Glossier product reviews on the playlist on my channel. In a great bit of beauty magic, aka massive coincidence, I wished for a hand cream from the brand at the end of my Glossier skincare video in April, and just a few days later it was announced. Inside this little paper pouch is one of the coolest looking hand creams on the market. It's cute and palm-sized, so it's a great candidate to be a handbag hand cream. This ergonomic design has a flip-top lid for easy use on the go, we'll test that in a second, and a sleek, curved, squeezable pod, as the brand calls it. It's meant to have a 360-degree squeeze, so it's not just the centre that's squishy, you can see the whole thing is, even the corners get pretty bendy. The cap clicks closed to avoid any spills, but does that make it harder to use one-handed, which it sort of looks like you might be able to? In my experience, really struggling to open it while filming this, yes. Great to have a secure cap, but trying to flick it open one-handed wasn't that easy. My pod almost looks like it's going to come away from the cap underneath when I try that. So I'll just stick to having a nice firm grip on the pod and the darker pink part, then pulling the lid up with my other hand. The overall feel of the packaging is nice and smooth, and it's very Glossier. It's got their different tones of pink, the red of their bubble wrap pouch zip on the nozzle, giant Glossier letters wrapped around it. They definitely got creative with the design, inspired by their Glossier U and Milky Jelly bottles, prehistoric stone tools, and lighters with that lid action. It ticks the Instagrammable box more than a regular tube, kind of in line with something like Chanel's famous egg-shaped hand cream. Interestingly, when you pop both of these open, the actual nozzle is quite similar. Both creams sort of push out through a short, straight line opening, rather than a normal round tube opening. The only downside is that I'm not sure the pod shape will allow you to really get all of the cream out like flattening a thinner tube lets you, and it's so thick I won't be able to cut into it like I demonstrated in my latest empties video. I'm a packaging and design nerd, so I love seeing interesting creations like this, but it doesn't really matter if my hand cream comes in a tube, a pink squeezy pod, or the shape of Timothée Chalamet. The most important aspects for me are the texture and the scent. Let's tackle texture first. I've seen it described as a lotion/cream hybrid, which feels about right to me. It's probably middle weight, not runny at all like a lotion, but not thick like a really heavy cream either. Even though it has a nice, fairly light texture when you're applying it, it still feels creamy and hydrating on the skin. The formula contains nutrient-rich meadow foam seed oil, plant-based ingredients, and something called glycofilm polystop, which forms a physical film or second skin matrix to block out skin stressors. Glossier doesn't go into more detail than that. The sun is a big skin stressor, for instance, but this doesn't contain any SPF, but the word polystop in the ingredients suggests it's more about blocking out pollution. My interpretation and experience is also that it creates a slight barrier that sort of lengthens how long your hands feel hydrated. An important claim is that it's non-greasy, and it is a little greasy to touch immediately after you apply it. It's not one of those 10 seconds later you can be back at your laptop sort of creams, but if you give it a few more minutes, it does sink in and doesn't feel sticky or greasy. Now onto the next most noticeable part of this product after the packaging, the scent. Glossier's hand cream is meant to smell like Glossier U, their signature fragrance that wafts past you about 20 times a day on the street in New York, reimagined. It's quite an ambiguous perfume that's hard to describe. I got creative in my video on it a long time ago, but this version feels more floral and fresh. Part of the reason scents can be difficult to describe is that they can smell slightly different to everyone, and even our interpretation of intensity can vary. One person's didn't even notice it is another person's oh my god, that's way too strong. Before trying this, I'd seen both of those reactions. Some people said the scent was so light and others said the scent was so strong. I probably sit somewhere in the middle. It's not overpowering to me, but it's definitely present and will probably grab your co-worker's attention from one desk over. To be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the Glossier U scent. I like it when I smell it on other people, but prefer something more floral on me, but I can still handle the hand cream. If you love Glossier U, on the other hand, pretty good chance you'll enjoy this. If we were to compare it to another scented Glossier product like Body Hero, they're nothing alike. The Body Hero Duo is scented with orange blossom and neroli, so it's far more sweet and floral. I definitely lean more towards this type of scent, so I'd love to see a version of this if they make a second hand cream in future. How does does this product stack up in terms of sustainability? I recapped a few of Glossier's recent steps in this area in my Vanillic Lip video last month, and they've continued in that direction to some degree here by making the pouch that hand cream comes in paper instead of plastic. It's a material called glassine, so it's smooth and glossy and water resistant and almost looks like plastic from a distance. They said they wanted it to be fun, like opening up a bag of candy, but this is a far better option than the old Glossier Play candy wrappers. The body of the hand cream packaging, the pod, is recyclable, which is great, but the cap isn't, so you're going to have to take this off before it can go in your recycling bin. It's also not refillable, as some people thought it might be from the shape, but I have seen a hack online that said you can pop the top off and refill it yourself. Not at that stage yet, so let me know if any of you have tried that. Otherwise, it would be great to see Glossier sell this bottom section separately as a refill in future. A quick note on what you can do with the cap though. I mentioned in my empties video that I use a recycling company called TerraCycle, so I'll be putting this in my pile to take to one of their drop-off points. They recycle and repurpose bits of beauty packaging just like this that are not traditionally recyclable. I don't normally discuss price in my videos because you're all watching from all over the world with different currencies and exchange rates, and I also never like to comment on whether something is affordable or expensive because those terms are always relative and can mean something different to each person. But in this case, I did think it was worth doing a quick price and size comparison because I was a bit surprised by the result. You can see in my recent hand cream video that I enjoy using a lot of different luxury formulas or hand creams from indie brands, so the two closest products I have were Go-To Skincare's Super Handy, one of my favourite Aussie brands that also has a US website, and Caudaly's Hand and Nail Cream, a French skincare brand sold in Sephora in the US. Glossier's hand cream is $18 for 1.7 fluid ounces or 50 milliliters. Go-To is $16 for 1.69 fluid ounces, which is basically 50 mils too, and Caudaly is $15 for 2.5 fluid ounces or 75 mils. So Glossier is certainly charging more per fluid ounce compared to those two, but the packaging design and user experience is very different to a regular tube, so that might account for the price difference and make up for it in some customers' minds. That's a wrap on my hand cream review. Am I in love with the scent? Not really. Am I glad 2 out of 3 of the product elements are recyclable? Definitely. Has Glossier once again made a product that people are excited to play with and want to photograph? Absolutely. I'd love to hear what you think of their hand cream launch, if you snapped one up on the first day or gave it a miss. Please report in if you've been using it. Any guesses on what Glossier's next skincare release might be? I'd love to read your predictions in the comments or what you're wishing for. See you for some Skywash swatches soon. Thanks for watching. See you next time.